I am thrilled to support Phil Lyman, who is running for Congress in Utah's Congressional District 3. My name is Natalie Clausen. Phil asked me to run with him for lieutenant governor when he ran for governor in 2024. I had the unique experience of campaigning closely with him for a long period of time, and I have the unique opportunity now to tell you some things about him that you may not know. I'm going to give you 10 reasons why I believe he is the best candidate for CD3. Some of these may surprise you. My first reason is that Phil is a builder. Not only did he build the beautiful home that he and Jody have lived in for over 20 years, but he's a builder of people. So when I ran with Phil, I'd actually never been in politics before. It was a big step for me, but he was so encouraging of me the entire time. I really appreciate it. He never was critical of me. He was extremely kind. He's very good to kind to women and to all groups of people. And we live in this climate right now where people are quick to censure and censor other people. And he's very liberty minded, and he's a builder. Number two, I appreciate Phil's love for family values. He and his incredible wife, Jody, have been married for 40 years. They have 5 children and they have 20 grandchildren. They do this great cousins club every summer where they have the cousins get together and they teach them the Constitution. I think it's great. Jody is the product of adoption, and so they are fiercely pro-life in their family, and they have a great respect and love for each other. Okay, number 3, I love how educated Phil is. As you know, he lives down in Blanding, and so he takes a lot of long road trips. He's always reading and he's listening to audiobooks. He has a great retention of them, and he's always like thinking through different topics that he learns in them. He loves history and appreciates it. And, you know, it's interesting, on the campaign trail, people would come with all kinds of questions and topics that they were concerned about, and we never ran across anything that he wasn't fully aware of and could converse on. So all the crazy things in the world, he knows what's going on. So I really appreciate how educated he is. And I know that's a skill that he'll take with him to the U.S. Congress, that he'll research the bills and make sure he knows exactly what is in them. Number 4, Phil has the right disposition to handle pressure. I've seen him in some pretty tense situations. I've never seen him get upset. I've seen people compliment him. It doesn't go to his head. I've seen people criticize him, and he takes those criticisms seriously and wants to understand them. He doesn't get discouraged. He has a very even temperament. And he's had some unique experiences that have aided in that. He was a pilot, so he understands to making decisions under pressure. He also is a football player, so he knows how to work hard and to be dedicated and focused. And as a CPA, he's very meticulous. So I believe he has the right disposition to represent us. Number 5, Phil cannot be bought. I was in an interesting situation with Phil early when we were campaigning together, where someone came and offered him something that was quite substantial and would have been really helpful for our campaign, but it came with strings attached. And it was not difficult for Phil to just walk away from it. I was really impressed by seeing that. So I know that he has no problem walking away from things. I know he won't be attached to money from APEC or other groups like that, and that's important to me. Phil is a man of faith and committed to service. There were plenty of weeks when we were campaigning and it was late on a Saturday night and he was up in the Wasatch Front, and he left to drive home through the night back to Blanding, which is a good 4 or 5 hour drive through a lot of rural areas. He wanted to make sure that he was back to go to church on Sunday so he could teach the class that he was assigned. So he's committed to his responsibilities. Also, I heard incredible stories of how he served people around him in his community from those people, not from Phil. But we did hear of a man who was one of his neighbors who was sick with cancer, and Phil just spent hours and hours at his side helping him as he struggled with cancer. So I've always been impressed with Phil and how he's willing to leave to go take care of the one, and for his many acts of service. Number 7, Phil strongly believes in liberty and justice for all. There were so many stories that we heard of when Phil would stand up for people who needed help. He would write letters for people. He attended trials for people. He would help secure representation for people who needed help. He was there for people. And as we campaigned together, for the governor's race, those people were there for him because he was there for them before. And I've seen that personally throughout the state, all these incredible stories. And of Phil and how he has stood up for people. We saw that again in his community in Blanding too. There were 26 homes that were raided by the FBI in the early morning hours, and Phil decided as a result of that he was going to run for county commissioner and help represent the people in the community, and he has been there for them ever since. And now he has expanded and was over the legislature for that area of Utah, and now we want to send him to Washington, D.C. so he can continue to represent his constituents and stand up for the people who need being stood up for. Number 8, Phil is the man in the arena. So many of us are so frustrated because of the results of SB 54. We've seen what it's done to our caucus convention system, and Phil has been fighting that at great personal cost these last 2 years as we've been challenging the petition packets that have been submitted, the processes by which it was done, and the elections with the mail-in ballots and everything. We've been through court cases and we've done a number of challenges, and we're grateful for some of the work that's been done by the legislature since then. There's been a number of laws that have been passed that were a direct result of some of the concerns that we had and the issues that we raised. Now you can poll watch when people go in and submit petition packets, and we are still challenging those things because we believe strongly in fair elections, and Phil has laid it all on the line. He was challenging SB 54 and election issues when he was in the legislature, and we'll continue to fight for transparency for Utah because all of us deserve to have clean elections that we can trust. We're doing this for our next generation. We're doing it for our children, for our grandchildren, because we care about them. We care about Utah and clean elections. Number 9, Phil is the right person to represent Utah at this time. Phil knows Utah. He's traveled the state more than probably anyone else. He's put hundreds and thousands of miles on his car, going through to every corner of the state. He built his home in Utah over 20 years ago, and he's lived here with his family for generations. His family's been here forever. And he has, he can show up in any rural town there is and people will know him, because he has such a great love for our state. I appreciate how Phil has taken his fight for transparency and how he will continue to take that to the national level. We've seen the incumbent who he's challenging she actually voted to keep hush money quiet from congressional leaders so that they don't have to disclose the money that is being used to pay off for sexual misconduct and other things that and we saw that play out with Representative Swalwell. Huge concern. Phil would definitely be voting for more transparency. Another issue is Phil is very liberty-minded and freedom-minded, and we've seen his opponent voted to put kill switches in cars. I don't like that at all. I have a huge concern with that, and Phil would not be doing that, and he wouldn't be taking money from APEC or organizations like that. So he is the right person for Utah. Number 10, Phil Lyman is a person who I trust and respect, and I have confidence that he would be making the right choices for Utah, that he would be fighting for freedom and transparency and for the Constitution. He is exactly who we need in Washington, D.C., so I hope you join me in supporting Phil Lyman and sending him to Washington, D.C. for Utah in Congressional District 3.